Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Hadley, I'm a fiber artist based in New York, and welcome to my studio vlog. It is currently Monday, June 10th at about 4:32 p.m. and I just finished work for the day, so I'm able to come into my studio. However, a tragedy has occurred, and I think I have to start over on this project to my left. So let me show you what's going on. This is a lace tank top that I'm currently working on. I think the side of it that is the right side looks really pretty, but I realized when I came up here that there is a hole and the yarn looks like it has broken here. I tied it just so it doesn't unravel more, but I don't think this is something I can fix because the lace pattern is very complicated and I would have to detach multiple stitches, and I am very new to lace and I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. So my options are either I can put a lifeline in it and try to reset the stitches. I'd probably put the lifeline right where I started to decrease for the shoulder shaping. But the issue with that is that I would have to line up the order of the lace perfectly, and I don't really feel confident that I'm going to do that. And I know it's going to take me probably an hour to put a lifeline in and then rehang it and then attempt to do that, or I just start over on the entire thing, which is really sad because I'm almost done. I'm almost to the V-neck shaping, so there's only about 40 more rows to go, but I think I would rather start over than have a lifeline that doesn't work, because if I put in the work to put in a lifeline and it doesn't work, I'm going to be very upset. So I don't deal with that well because I'm somewhat of a perfectionist. So I think what we're going to do is just unravel this entire thing, is to frog it, sadly, and then we're gonna start over. So that's my plan right now. But welcome. I am planning on hopefully finishing a lace tank top, but I might honestly put this on the back burner and just try to do something else that's a little bit easier, because I just need an easy project right now. I need something easy breezy, cover girl. And this lace is not it. It is so complicated. Anyhow, I wanted to show you something else that I've been working on. Let me go get it. In the last studio vlog, I showed you that I started working on a bandana. So here is the bandana. It's sort of hard to see, but it is sort of hard to see the pattern. But I really like how it turned out. I think it's cute. It is still rolling up after I blocked it. So what I think I'm going to do is fold the edge down and stitch it so that it's with my sewing machine, and then that should go a lot smoother. But obviously maybe not with my bangs, but something like that. And then I'm gonna create I-cord and attach it to the edges so that it can get tied behind. I think overall the shape is okay, but when you put it behind the ears, it really stands up, like here. So I think that the shape needs to be a little bit less pointy and a little bit faster of a decrease. So we're also gonna work on that. Let's get to frogging. Let's undo all the work that I've done in the last 24 hours. I actually think this would have been way too big for me. Like, if I put it at the halfway point, it is fallen down. So this actually is a good thing that the hole happened, because I definitely need to decrease stitches. Yeah, would have been way too big. But it is really pretty. Maybe I'll do it in a different color. Maybe this was the universe telling me that I need to do this in a different color and not white. But the white is kind of nice. I don't know. I have finished winding up my yarn. I am going to leave it on the cone because since this yarn is so thin, I think if I took it off, it would just completely collapse. So I'm going to keep it on the cone to intact its integrity, and I'm going to just make something out of it right away. I don't think I'm going to jump into the lace project yet because I am nervous, very nervous to start it again. Hello, it is currently Tuesday at 1:37. I am currently on my lunch at work, and I wanted to update you on some things. So, number one that is exciting is I finished the bandana that I've been working on. So, what I ended up doing to prevent the rolling that happens with knit stitches when you just knit stockinette on one side is I folded it over and stitched it with my knitting machine, and the line is a little bit wonky, I'll be honest. I'm not the best at sewing, so we're working on that, but I'm pretty happy with it overall. And then I attached I-cord to the ends of it. Gonna be honest, kind of looks like underwear, but it's not. It's a bandana. So I like how it looks. I'm not gonna tie it because that is a whole thing, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with it overall. Oops. I should have tied it. Hold on, let me tie it. Okay, so this is what it looks like tied. It's okay. It's not perfect. I think there are some things I could change about it, but overall I do. Ooh, there's a red-headed bird outside, just like me. But yeah, I like it. Obviously the pattern on this one didn't really come through. It's purple and green, which I love that color combination, and I really enjoy purple, clearly, but the contrast just wasn't high enough for the pattern to actually come through, so it just kind of looks gray. Don't love that. So I started to make another bandana, but I broke the rules and I didn't make a gauge swatch. I just went straight into it based on the gauge swatch of this one since it's the same yarn, but I did a different design, which is this like tuck stitch, if you can see it. It's really pretty, but the thing is that its tuck stitch makes it very short. So it's the right width, but it is not the right height. It's very, very short. So like compared to this one, you can see it's significantly shorter. So it's not the right size, so I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing board with the pattern when I'm using tuck stitch. But I do like how it turned out. Just didn't work, will not work as a bandana. But never fear, it's not going to waste. It's going to become a bandana for my dog. So that is that. The other thing is that this is currently how I store all of my gauge swatches, which is just a nightmare and a mess and not productive or organized for anyone involved. So I ordered a binder and some plastic sleeves for like postcards that I think is going to work a lot better for my gauge swatches. So let's open it up. Still have not gotten real scissors in here. I'm just using my thread scissors. Alright, so I got like these protectors, so they're split in half. And I think this is going to work really well to put the gauge swatches in. I Really thought that they had little extenders for labels, but I guess they don't. That's okay. I'll make my own labels. And then of course I had to get a fun colored binder. So now I am just going to put all of my gauge swatches in this binder and label them and just really get it organized. Hello, welcome back. It is the next day. It is Wednesday at about 11:35 a.m. I am starting my lunch for the day, and I wanted to talk a little bit about yesterday and really the last week. I have been very frustrated in the last week because I feel that like everything that I have been knitting has just been going so horribly wrong. And it's really not that dramatic, I'm just dramatic, but I have tried to do lace and I have done it unsuccessfully. I got so far into a lace tank top and then I dropped a bunch of stitches. I tried making a sock and it did not work. I tried a new technique on my knitting machine and it didn't work. Everything that I've been trying on my new knitting machine has just not been working, and my partner gave me the good reality check of that I have only had this machine for a week, and though I am like an expert on my bulky machine, which is over here, I'm not an expert on my new machine yet. It is a lot more picky, it is a lot more finicky. My bulky machine, I feel that I can really get away with more and it will still function and knit. The standard gauge, however, is a lot more finicky. I need to be very conscious of my tension. I need to be very conscious of the weights that are on the yarn. I need to be very cautious of like where the yarn is coming from and how tight it is pulling. A lot of different factors that I haven't had to take into account in the last year of learning how to machine knit on my other machine. So I went back to my roots. The first thing that I made when I first got my very first knitting machine was a hat. So I decided to take that and just make a hat. No pressure, just make a hat. And I did. And I made this hat. There is a little mistake with the pattern, as you can see, but that's okay. This hat is just for me. It is hidden by the brim. It is good. The seam came out really nice, and on the inside the seam came out really nice. Oh, why is it not focusing? There we go. The seam came out really nice on the inside as well. So I'm happy. I feel that I needed to make a hat on my new machine to kind of inaugurate it. Today I woke up and I said, I'm gonna try that new technique again, which is something called double bed jacquard. So when you are looking at the hat that I made yesterday, you can see on the inside that you can see where the yarn like carries over in between the stitch colors. You can see that. Double bed jacquard eliminates this because you're essentially knitting on both sides of the fabric. So you're not knitting just on one side. You're not just doing stockinette stitch on one side. You are doing it back and forth, kind of a very tight rib. I tried this technique yesterday and it went so horribly wrong and it was not working. So I watched a ton. There's really not that many videos on how to do it on YouTube, but I watched literally all of them and I actually came out with something that is usable. So here is just a little sample that you can see that's the same pattern, but the back is like striped. So it's also knit. It's not the carryovers. So you get a really seamless double-sided fabric. It is stiffer. So like the stretch is definitely bigger. And when you stretch it, the pattern does not look, oh, come on, focus. Hello. When you stretch it, the pattern does not maintain as well as when you like stretch non-double bed jacquard. So I don't know what I'm going to particularly use this technique for, but it is a technique that I have been wanting to use because that's one of the main reasons I bought this new machine, is so that I could do double bed jacquard, and I'm really excited about the possibilities of this. This means that I can do sweaters with more complicated patterns on the front and not worry about the length of the carryover. For example, let me grab a hat. Okay, so this is a hat that I did on my bulky machine, so the stitches are a lot bigger, but as you can see, very fun design. Love this one. It's not put together. But the back of it, come on. The back of it has like really big carryovers. So this is spanning like 6 stitches. And that means that like when it's scrunched back up, that you can catch it and like maybe even I can put my whole finger through that, right? Double bed jacquard eliminates this. So I think I can do more complicated patterns on the front, and it really mitigates those carryovers, those yarn overs. So I'm really excited about that. I haven't planned out what I'm really going to knit today. On reflection, I have mentioned that I've been wanting to do markets, selling markets. I planned out all of the pieces I'd like to make for a summer market. I think I'm being unrealistic with myself in that I am not going to be able to do a summer market. Ultimately, my goal is to make quality products. Not necessarily sell them, but just get to the level that I can make quality products. For me to do a craft fair in a month, in 2 months, I don't think I'm going to be able to get the quantity of quality products that I want by the time summer is over. I already have a craft fair that I am doing in October. A family friend of ours has like a booth at a street fair that they're not using, so they're letting me and my partner is a painter, so he is going to be doing his paintings and I'll do my knitwear. Our family friend is letting us use this booth for that, so I think my goal is just to plan for that street fair in October. I know that's so far away. So I'm gonna make more fall items rather than I was really trying to crank out summer items, bandanas, like as fast as I possibly can to try to be ready for a market. I need the opposite mindset. I need to create pieces, and then once I've created enough, then I can sell them. Then I can attend a market. And ultimately, like, my goal is not just to like make a ton of money. My goal is just to like have some supplemental income to continue doing this hobby that I love, and like establish my brand. So get exposure at these markets, things like that. So today I think I am going to do some sketching for some fall attire, some fall hats, new patterns, probably some vests. I'm very good at vests, very humble about it, obviously. Vests are my strong suit. Vests and hats are what I'm best at. It's what I've practiced the most. And then also probably some other sweaters as well. So Trying to not say so much. I am going to work on those things today. So I need to go get my iPad so that I can do some sketching for some designs, and then I am probably going to input some patterns into my new machine and test those out as well. That's the plan right now. I think that's all. Oh, I forgot. I finished my swatch binder yesterday. I ended up not putting every single swatch I have in here because a lot of the swatches I have are yarn that I am not going to use again, don't have anymore, etc., etc. So I actually only put in my new yarn swatches in here, and then as I move back to my bulky machine, once my new table comes in, because the table that my bulky machine is on right now is not stable enough for me to knit on it. When you're knitting, there's a lot of back and forth heavy movement. This table is $40 from Amazon and will crumble under the weight of me moving my machine. So I ordered a new workbench from Work Pro, and that should come in next week, I think. Shipping takes a while, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I had to buy it through Amazon. Unfortunately, I had to buy it through Amazon rather than directly from Work Pro's website because they were out of stock on their website, so the shipping is taking a lot longer. It's coming from Canada, and like all the way other side of the country, Canada, not close to New York, Canada. So once I get back to my bulky machine, any swatches I make, I will catalog in here. Sorry, rambling. We've got all of the swatches. Yay! Some of them are so curled up. Oh, this is not focusing. Hello. Some of them are really curled up, but I know what they are. I've got my labels here. They're all taped in. They're not going anywhere. They're not falling out. I love it. I love being organized. So that is a success. A success. Yay. All right, I'm gonna go get my iPad and then we're gonna sketch. So this is what I have right now. I think what I want to do is like some apron vests that are all solid color, maybe with some intarsia in the middle, but I have not made an apron vest. I want ribbing on the sides, so very similar to, let me see if I can find the swatch. So this is a little swatch I made for an apron vest. I only did one side of the top, so obviously it would match on the other side, but it's got ribbing on the sides and then a hem on the bottom. So something like that. I don't think I would use this yarn because it's a little too sheer, as you can see through it, but that is what I'm thinking. I haven't made a full-size apron vest yet, but I did make this little mock-up. The other thought I had was a little vest that has crochet edges around the entire thing, and then it would be secured in the middle with buttons potentially, or maybe little clasps, so it would not be fully enclosed in the front, but it would, so you'd put it on like a open vest and then you could button it up. Again, haven't made this. This is just an idea. I've seen things like this and I think they're really cute. And then, of course, the classic, we need a bow. Of course we need a bow. It's bow season. So a little vest that I think would be really cute if it was a solid color, and then it had I-cord edging of another like contrast bright color, and then a bow tie in the front. I think that would be adorable. And then the last vest I think I'm going to try and tackle is just a very basic vest. So it's got ribbed arm openings, ribbed neck hole opening, and then ribbed bottom. And I think I would do it in some of these patterns. So like this is one I've already knit up. You've seen it, the red and white checkers. I would use different colors, but I do like this pattern that I've done and this pattern. These patterns are all from a book that I purchased that talk about different patterns, and you can use them to sell the patterns or sell work with the patterns. You can't sell the patterns, but you can sell the work that you make with the patterns, and these are my favorites. So I think those would be fun as vests as well. I would also use all of these patterns for hats too, and then probably bandanas as well, and then scrunchies too. So I think those would be my 4 items that I would be using for a craft fair. It is the same day. I just had to change my shirt because I was getting really warm. I am the type of person I'd love to wear sweaters year round, and that is just not feasible, but I still wake up in the morning and go, I'm gonna wear a turtleneck sweater, and then I get way too warm, so I had to change. But I think what I'm gonna do next is input these patterns into my new knitting machine and then make swatches with them. I only have about 15 minutes left of my lunch, so we're gonna see if we can crank out one pattern, but we'll see. I don't have a meeting until 3 o'clock, so I might just take a little long lunch. We'll see. Being crazy. So I'm gonna go ahead and input some patterns into my knitting machine and make some test swatches. Welcome back. It is currently 6:23 on the same day on Wednesday, and I wanted to update you on what I got done. So I did a bunch of swatches. I didn't input as many patterns as I thought I was going to input because it's kind of a tedious process and it stresses me out a little bit because I worry if I mess something up, I don't necessarily know how to fix it. And I mean that by inputting the pattern into the machine. But here's what I did. Or actually before that, so most of the patterns that I use are from this book here called Alternate Stitch Dictionary by Andrea Rangel. I love this book. I know there's a newer version of it. I haven't purchased that and I will be purchasing it. And I don't necessarily use all the patterns exactly how they are. Sometimes I modify them to make them a little bit smaller so that my yarn overs aren't as dramatic on the machine, but I do use a lot of her work, and all of her stuff, you can use the patterns and sell work with the patterns, so there's not like a copyright issue or anything like that. But let me show you the swatches that I did. So these are the 2 patterns that I input today. This one is going to be pattern number 903 in the machine, and it looks like this. And I really like how this turned out. I think it can create an interesting textile depending on which color is the dominant color. So like in this case, it looks like polka dots, obviously, but if the dominant color was where the white is, it might look like checkers. So there's definitely some possibilities there playing around with that. The second pattern that I did, this one is directly from the book, is this really cool zigzag pattern. I love zigzags. Anything that is graphic like that, I'm really a big fan of. This one I think is going to look great on hats and maybe even some vests. Why couldn't I think of that word? Vests. Yeah, then I took a little detour and I started working more on this gauge swatch. So you've seen this already if you've watched some of my other videos. This is a gauge swatch for an apron vest I'm doing, and my idea is that I'd have ribbing on the bottom that's folded over and then ribbing on the side so that it creates a nice edge. However, I wasn't super happy with how this turned out. I thought it still looked a little bit messy, and maybe it's just the yarn that I was using in this case, but I didn't love it. So I did some research and I came across a stitch called the Milano stitch. So this is different yarn. This is acrylic, but this is normal ribbing on the bottom, which I would fold over and hem. And then this is the Milano stitch on the side. So you can see it's really crisp. It's almost indiscernible from the normal stockinette. But what's really cool is when you flip it over, it's curling because of the top, not because of the sides. It's really stiff, so it's not going to like curl up on you like this, how knitting a lot of times does. So I'm really happy with that. But then I thought the contrast between the bottom normal ribbing and the Milano ribbing was kind of extreme, and I want this side to really go seamlessly. So I did the Milano ribbing also on the bottom, and this is really stiff yarn, so it looks stiff and it is stiff, but this is the Milano ribbing on the bottom. None of these are blocked, which is why they're so curly, and then the Milano ribbing just goes straight into the sides, as you can see, and again it does a really good job of just laying flat on the sides. The bottom is curling. Again, that will be fixed in a later mock-up, but I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. I think that this is too thick of a ribbing for the bottom, but I'm content with this. But yeah, that's what I've worked on today. I don't know if I'll do anything else today. I feel I'm in a really good place and everything has been working out how I want it to today, and if I end on something that isn't working out, it's going to break me a little bit. My plan for tomorrow, my plan for tonight is that based on these swatches that I made for this apron vest, I'm going to draft a pattern for it based on my measurements. I find that that works the best for me to like perfect the fit, because I can tell what it's going to look like on someone my size, and then I can grade the pattern accordingly. So I'm going to write my pattern for the apron vest tonight, and then tomorrow I think I will tackle it. I don't think I'm going to start it today. Maybe I will. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, that's probably it for tonight, and I will see you tomorrow.